Welcome in, everyone, to the first episode, the inaugural episode of Extremely Average Fantasy Football. I am your host, Clayton Hill. And you're saying, Clayton, what the hell's going on, man? Why am I even listening to you? And I can't give you an answer. I can't give you an answer because this is not your typical fantasy football podcast. This is your extremely average fantasy football podcast where you're not coming here for advice. You're coming here to share emotions is what we're doing. We're here to strap into the roller coaster together in this 18-week-long season. This 18-week-long theme park ride. We're here to share emotions of joy and panic and humiliation. And we're just scrambling through it together, man. We are just in it together. That's it. That's all. That's the reason why we're here. I am no expert by any means whatsoever. I've been playing fantasy football for maybe 14, 15 years. And I haven't learned a thing. So you're not coming here for knowledge. We're just coming here to share in whatever emotion might be going on. You can send in your lineups if you want to. I can help break them down. I'll break down my lineups, start breaking down my opponent. Take a look at things I'm excited for, things that I'm scared of. Because every week, there's a reason to celebrate, and every week there's a reason to crawl into a corner and never come out again. And that's what we're here for. You and I are together on this journey. And what better day to begin this journey than probably a month ago, but we missed that. But tonight is opening kickoff of the season. And I cannot wait. The Rams and the Bills, baby. That is going to be one heck of a matchup. So hopefully by now you have done your drafts. Because if not, I don't even know if you can start a season after the first game. And in every draft, I'm always hopeful. And in every draft, I always panic. There is one moment in the draft, I will have my guys set up on who I am looking for. And sure enough, at least once, maybe twice, the person that I am eyeballing flies off the board either right before me or 2 picks before me. Especially if it's right before me, it is an absolute panic for me. That happened twice to me in my quote-unquote OG league, the one that I've been running since I've been in college. So, again, about 14, 15 years. I had that happen to me twice. And so there's plenty of panic, and you just scramble. And usually it's a domino effect. So I had plenty of domino effects where the entire rest of the draft, I was either reaching or picking people that I was not happy with. In my OG league, I'm in about 5 of them. So there's plenty of fantasy to go around, and this is the most that I've ever done in one league. But my strategy has always been to go fairly run heavy. My OG league is a standard league. Running backs are definitely of higher value. What did I do this year, you ask? I didn't unfilter the players. Looking at the wide receivers, I was about pick 9, I believe, 8 or 9. Looking at the wide receivers, queuing up some people that I might be interested in later in the draft. All of a sudden you hear da-na-na, da-na-na. Holy shit, that's me, dude. I've got a draft. I have 60 seconds to find somebody, okay? I'm looking. Wow, really? Jamar Chase? Is that the That's the top person going on there, Jamar Chase. And then it was like Stephon Diggs. And okay, crap. I guess, yeah, all right. Everybody really went heavy on running backs. Tick, tick, tick. Shit, I hate this. Click. Jamar Chase with my first pick. And that's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. That's not terrible, but in a standard league, you really want to grab those running backs right off the bat, and that didn't happen. So there was one panic there where I had that going on. And after that, I ended up with like going Javonte Williams for my first back. I'd rather not have somebody who's splitting time, but it is what it is. I was able to pick up Dameon Pierce, some A.J. Dillon action up in there. Followed it up with like some Chase Edmonds. Got down there and got a James Cook for Buffalo, seeing if he can come up. I kind of hope it happens. I kind of don't. Begrudgingly have Devin Singletary in another league. So at that point, yeah, that's kind of what happens when you get 5 leagues. When you get to a certain point, you're just rooting against yourself in a lot of ways. But I couldn't get around it this year, and that's what we ended up with. So plenty of panic there. That was panic in that one. Again, Devin Singletary was another panic pick for me in a different league. Not too excited. He ended the year really well last year, but they have Josh Allen. That's the real running back, and he just slings the rock all over the place. So not too crazy there. Another panic pick that I did, not necessarily a panic pick, but again, going through the list in a different league, trying to queue up players that I was looking for. Trying to queue Lamar Jackson, not because I really wanted him. I think he will ball this year. But I'm kind of a Jalen Hurts guy. I'm a fan of him this year. I think he's gotten a lot better, and he has better weapons around him. So he should do work. Lamar Jackson, love Lamar Jackson, but there's the contract thing going on with him. Also, he lost Hollywood Brown, so really it's just Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. That's it. I think Bateman will go off by default, but Lamar's lost some weapons. Same thing with Kyler. Those 3 were kind of in my range for QB targets. And trying to queue up Lamar Jackson just to see whenever he went off the board to know that I should probably be looking to draft Jalen Hurts then. And instead of queuing him, I just drafted him. It was my turn. I started clicking buttons and just drafted him. Yeah, what are you going to do, man? Again, extremely average fantasy football. So we're not filtering out people in the draft or, unfiltering and clicking people. We're trying to queue up people, and instead we're actually drafting them. In another league that I have, I ended up being 9th, and then this was the last draft of the year, and so I was so hurt by all the other drafts and the panic picks and the button clicking of the buttons that I overcompensated in this league. I don't know why. But I ended up getting DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, and then Javonte Williams, not necessarily in that order. But I ended up going with my first 3 picks in running backs. And this one's a full PPR, so I love having DeAndre Swift and Alvin Kamara. I love having those in a full PPR format, some pass-catching backs. But to have all 3 and then my receivers 1 and 2, well, I've got Deontay Johnson, Hollywood Brown, and Rashad Bateman. Again, I think Bateman's going to ball. So I did have people that I tried to target and tried to go for in just about every draft. It helps make it a little easier for me too. And I don't have to worry about keeping up with every player in the NFL. There are, a couple of differences there. But we're just panic picking, baby. We're extremely average. That's what we're here for. I'm here to click buttons and see what the hell happens, man. But it's fantasy football, sports. Who knows? That's what we love about sports. And tonight is kind of Tonight's the Rams and the Bills, man. Like, I'm going to be looking for, I'm going to see what Matt Stafford does. I don't have him, but I'm going to see how that elbow is, for sure. We've had a couple issues there, non-invasive surgery or anything like that, but there's been some issues with the elbow. I'm going to see what Cam Akers does because I have Darrell Henderson in a lot of my leagues. I don't fully believe in Cam Akers. I hope he does well. I wish him well. But I don't think that he's going to ball out. So I've got Darrell Henderson just waiting there in the back, but he's also has his issues. He's a little hurt. So we're going to see what Darrell Henderson does. We're going to see what Devin Singletary does. We're going to see what Cook does behind, both running back situations are very, very interesting going into tonight. Quarterback situations interesting, but we kind of have a feeling how they'll go. The real question is, does Cooper Kupp do Cooper Kupp? And how does Allen Robinson fit into this new team, this new offense? Also looking at Gabe Davis. I've got a couple of stocks of him. And see if he finds that end zone. It's week 1, man. How will things play out? How will they play out? I'm super stoked. No advice coming in, just a little bit, that's just my where am I? Where am I? I almost sent out some trades and stuff, but I kind of just want to see how week 1 goes. I know that I'm weak in running back in some of my leagues. I'm weak in receivers in some of my leagues. I'm looking for 13 carries, I think is the magic number that I've heard. Where do I get this advice? Where do I get my stuff from? I listen to 2 people. I listen to the fantasy footballers. And I listen to Fantasy Pros. Those are my 2. So if you're ever wondering where my thought process is coming from, usually one of those 2. But I'm not making any moves. I did hit the waiver wire right after drafts for leagues that I have an IR position. This is some advice. If you have an IR position and like your last draft pick, drop your last draft pick. Pick up somebody who's on IR, move them to your IR, pick up another person that's on the IR if you have multiple, put them on your roster, move them to IR, then go back and pick up that last draft pick. You just got 2 extra players that you're holding on to. Michael Gallup is one of them. And then there's some receiver dude for Detroit that was supposed to be up and coming. Those are the 2 that I've kind of targeted. Any league that I have an IR spot, I've dropped my last draft pick, picked up those 2 people, and then went and re-picked up my last draft pick. It's like having two extra people on there. So I'm pumped. I think everybody's pumped. I'm a little nervous for some people. Like some people that I like, was Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh. I'm a little nervous of having him as my number 1. He's got a little shoulder injury going on. His shoulder doesn't feel good. I think you need that. So I'm pretty nervous about that going on in my league. Pretty nervous with the leagues where I don't have great running backs. Yeah, I have Jalen Hurts in a lot of my leagues. Jalen Hurts, Rashad Bateman, Kyle Pitts I went out and targeted, Javonte Williams. Those guys are common for me to have. A Treylon Burks, a Chris Olave, a Julio Jones. Those kind of go around multiple leagues that I have. But I will really be watching tonight's game and looking for that. Upcoming, I'm also looking at Dameon Pierce. I'm looking to see what Houston does and seeing if they can run. I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. I think it's going to be more Brandon Cooks. I'm also looking at the guy opposite of Brandon Cooks. Nico Collins, I think is his name. Can't be all Brandon Cooks, right? Chase Edmonds got a little groin injury. How's he going to do on Sunday? Kadarius Toney, can he stay healthy? Can he stay out on the field? If so, he'll be a target monster. We'll look at James Cook tonight. Joshua Palmer, he's probably going to be pretty quiet until Keenan Allen or Mike Williams go down. A.J. Dillon, does he start emerging a little more later on in the year? all questions, man. That's all we're doing. We're just in question mode. Christian McCaffrey, does he stay healthy? I took him number 1 overall, but that was in a league that I don't pay any money to. That's free. That's free risk right there. Love that. A.J. Brown, does he ball out with Jalen Hurts? Do they have a good connection? Does that just is... I think that could be an awesome matchup. One person I didn't get, Michael Pittman Jr., was not able to snag him in any of my leagues, and I love that dude. Love that dude. Elijah Moore, paying attention to him. Joe Flacco's in there this week, for I guess for the next 4. So we'll see what Elijah Moore does. Oh, man, one I hated to pick. I hated picking Robert Woods. I absolutely hated picking him up. I just found myself in an odd situation in this draft. I had Javonte Williams. I went Christian McCaffrey, Dameon Pierce, A.J. Dillon, Melvin Gordon. I felt like, I had a lot of... I needed a receiver, and at that point, Robert Woods was it. So, not excited about that whatsoever. Dalvin Cook, I think he's going to ball out. Aaron Jones, how long does he hang on? He's getting up there in age, but hasn't shown any regression whatsoever, man. Mike Williams, is he going to be consistent this year? Or are we going to have the roller coaster that we did last year? I had him last year for the first 5 weeks, and I couldn't even trade him after that. People want to know part of him. Oh, same lead that I accidentally hit Lamar Jackson. I accidentally hit Pat Freiermuth. Really wanted Cole Kmet. So that was fun. Christian Kirk got some talent. Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be a little better this year. He should be a target monster. Should be. We'll see. Who else, man? Treylon Burks. See, I got Treylon Burks in another league. I think he'll eventually overtake Robert Woods to be the number 1. So that's it, man. We're panic picking. We're freaking out over here, and we're clicking buttons, having a strategy, not following it at all, and seeing what the hell goes down, man. It's going to be an exciting year. I can't wait for tonight. So one of these teams is leaving 0-1. One of these teams is leaving without a win, which is crazy just because they play each other. And so hopefully you guys have set your lineups for tonight. If you all have any questions, man, get at me at extremely average fantasy football podcast at gmail.com. I know it's extremely average and extremely long. Maybe I change that later on, but I want it to be consistent with the title. Send me your lineups. Send me your questions. You might get some good advice, but we're definitely going to have some fun with it. And let's see what kind of crazy season that we have this year, man. It should be a good time. Right now, also, we're just on audio. I haven't set up any social media. I will start plugging that in. I am behind the ball on this. I just wanted to have a little fun going into this. But we'll get some social media out there, different ways for you guys to contact me. But for now, I just wanted to kind of see what was going on, put that out there, put my lineups out there, have a good time, and I'll probably just sit there clenching my butt cheeks tonight with Devin Singletary as one of my starting running backs. So clench your butts, watch some football, and let's have a great season, y'all.